It was a working day, and the main character was busy staring at the open field where the physical education classes were taking place. He was merrily witnessing the beauty of the female bodies which toiled under the burning sun when his nose suddenly started to bleed, but he handled it like a champ. His pervy gaze stung a girl, and she rushed to complain about it to the teacher in charge. Angrily, the teacher walked towards the main character, who was still unfazed by that. A loud call for help, from her behind, caught her attention. She rushed to see what had happened. A girl named Yu was lying unconscious on the ground. Expecting that it was a heatstroke, the teacher cleared the crowd and performed CPR on her, which proved to be ineffective. So, she called for 2 students to help her carry the fainted girl into the nursing room. Out of nowhere, appeared the protagonist, squatting beside her. He seemed to have assessed the girl's situation and found it to be a case of a heart attack. On his word, the teacher rustled through the fainted girl's pocket and found an empty bottle of medicine. When she opened it, the air was instantly filled with a stinky smell. The protagonist told her that the smell was from the herbs which made the medicine. Impressed by his knowledge of medicine, she asked him to introduce himself, and he introduced himself as Xiong Yu, and stated that he had a little knowledge of medicine. The teacher asked if he knew of any method to wake her up. Xiong Yu told her that he would have to perform CPR and massage her chest. Unlike the teachers, the CPR required strong lung capacity such as his. And he also calmly denoted that if the girl didn't wake up in the next 10 minutes, then she would die. Recalling his pervy behavior from earlier, the teacher hesitated at first to allow him to touch the girl, but she had to take a chance to save her if what he said was true. It wasn't worth risking her life over it. She made all the students turn so that Xiong Yu could start the procedure. On her signal to commence, he looked at her first and told her that whatever was about to happen was part of a medical procedure and not to make a fuss of it. But the teacher wasn't in the mood for a chat. She yelled at him to start without wasting any more of the fainted girl's time. Xiong Yu started by peeling off the tea from her torso. The teacher was watching him intensely with each passing moment. Next, he unhooked her bra and stared at it. She asked him if there was any problem with it, but Xiong Yu replied to her with the color of the bra, and then his blood burst out of his nose like a pipe. The teacher yelled at him even louder now. He asked her to give him 30 seconds, as it would be enough to save the girl's life. Balancing his body on a single hand, he hovered on top of the girl while the teacher continued yelling at him for performing crazy acrobatics. Ignoring her, Xiong Yu pressed the tips of his hand in between the girl's chest. She let out a response. It was the right time to transfer air into her body. Sucking up a load of air, he lowered his face down onto her lips and performed CPR. The teacher's cheeks flustered and her head swung side to side. She let out a shriek when Xiong Yu surprised her by standing beside her. He told her that she would wake up in 2 minutes and there was nothing to be worried about. Turning towards the school, Xiong Yu told her that he was going to the principal's office. The teacher wondered if he was the doctor the principal was thinking of hiring. She also noticed that he was almost the same age as hers. Yu, the fainted girl, woke up in 2 minutes just like he said. The teacher was relieved to see her sitting and gave her precautions, but the first thing the girl noticed was that her bra was gone. Xiong Yu stepped into the principal's office. His fiancée, Hongxin, was the principal, and she was talking with a man who sat in front of her across the table. The man introduced himself as Long Tingyun, and also that he was Hongxin's boyfriend. But inside, he compared himself to Xiong Yu, with himself being much better than Xiong Yu. Instead of shaking his hand, Xiong Yu shook his finger and introduced himself as Hongxin's fiancée. Irritated by him, Tingyun smacked his hand, and gave Xiong Yu a big speech on their relationship, families, and also why Xiong Yu was ineligible to marry her. Then, in reply, Xiong Yu gave him an explanation which got his mouth shut. Now, Hongxin stepped forward. She wanted to terminate the marriage contract and she was even ready to give compensation in return, which would be enough for him to live a comfortable life. Before Xiong Yu said anything, he wanted Tingyun out of his sight. Angry by his cockiness, Tingyun grabbed his collar to hit him, but Hongxin dismissed him from the room. The instant Tingyun stepped outside, Xiong Yu called out her bluff. He was a fake boyfriend and she was just trying to cancel their marriage contract. Even though impressed by his skills, she still didn't like him. Xiong Yu wasn't ready to break the marriage. He said that he was destined to marry her, and have children. In a desperate attempt, Hongxin was ready to give a hefty compensation and as well as a lot of beautiful women in gifts. Xiong Yu agreed for the women, but denied the money. Angered, she started attacking him. Kicking and punching, but not a single blow landed on him. Xiong Yu made her stumble on her high heel and pinned her to the desk. He used the fainted girl's pink bra to tie her hands so that she wouldn't attack him anymore. Then he released her and sat in her chair by the table, while she stood in front of him with her hands bound with a bra. For a while they chatted about their marriage, contracts, and their grandfathers, but they couldn't arrive at any conclusion. There was a knock on the door, and the physical education teacher entered inside. She was looking for Yuxi's bra. But somehow, Hongxin misunderstood that she was talking about her bra. And, also that they loved each other on such an intimate level that she even gave her bra to Xiong Yu. Xiong Yu told the teacher that he still had some use of the bra and would return it to her later. Now the teacher misunderstood that Xiong Yu had intimate feelings for Yuxi, and that's the reason he still wanted her bra. Anyhow, she went out of the room leaving Xiong Yu and Hongxin alone again. Now, Hongxin gave Xiong Yu a new proposal. She would help him get married to the teacher. Though pleased by it, Xiong Yu denied her offer. He still didn't want their marriage contract to be terminated. He had to abide by it, even if the bride was ugly or fat. Hongxin warned him one last time. If by chance they got married, she was ready to make his life a living hell.